Unfortunate news out of Tampa. The Rays have scored a run, which means the Royals have already lost today.
What?
The Royals can't score.
They scored 3 yesterday, and that was enough?
That was a minor miracle.
It was enough.
They needed almost 7 no-hit innings from a rookie making his major league debut.
6 1/3.
6 1/3. He got into the 7.
Mm-hmm.
Noah Cameron. Nice start by him last night. He was shoving.
And what did he get for his trouble?
Back to Omaha.
Ticket back to Omaha today.
At least he doesn't have to make the drive up I-29.
Okay, yeah.
Right? He's probably arriving back in Omaha
on one of those
flights with the East Coasters.
Hey, this PJ's headed from Tampa. You just want to hop on?
I don't think he got it at PJ. I think he probably had to fly commercial to Omaha.
What did he get? Yes, he played his major league debut in a spring training ballpark.
It's pretty rough, isn't it?
Gave him 6 1/3 no-hit innings,
and then immediately sent back. Not
on a commercial plane.
Yeah.
What big league experience did he get?
I
would love to talk to him about this.
Let's talk to him. Actually, let's send a text to Nick Batters and say, "Can Noah Cameron come on the show? I'd like to talk to him."
You send it. Nick is mad at me.
Oh, are you doing bad? Are you doing bad?
As a team, we are trying to help him.
I'll send it. I'll send the text. Speaking of the Royals, I have a question for you real quick. Maybe Colin and White Plains can chime in on this. Is Bobby Witt Jr. going to get second in the MVP to Aaron Judge for the rest of his life?
Oh God, is he Karl Malone?
No.
Okay.
I want to put the chop on that one.
No, don't put it on the internet that I said Bobby Witt Jr. is Karl Malone.
No,
is he John Stockton?
He's clearly not that. I don't know. It seems like he is destined to get second in the MVP forever to Aaron Judge. What has Bobby Witt Jr. done? He's like through his first 5 years, or for his first 500 games, rather, he's like top 3 in the franchise in every single stat you could ever have through 500 games. Like he's on track to be one of the best Royals ever, first or second. And
I mean, he's already in the top 5 of that.
He's
right?
getting very close. Yeah, he's only played 500 games, so I guess it's a little early.
Got his 1,000th base last night,
but if he continues on this pace, he's hitting 21 straight games, and Aaron Judge is like, whatever, I'll just hit 60 home runs and hit 400. I guess I'm Ted Williams now. And Bobby Witt Jr. will be like, what the hell? This is messed up, man. I'm trying to win an MVP once, at least. So
maybe that's one.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. All right. Oh, we got a couple. I wanted to get to this YouTube comment. This is good.
I love a YouTube comment.
It's from Douglas.
Oh, I don't love those as much, but sometimes they're fun.
It's from Douglas. So we call Troy Dannon Mr. Yogurt.
We do.
Douglas wonders if 1620 has made any funny names of Creighton staff members or players, and has Josh Odson ever canceled any J program ever? Please NTU. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
For example, let's call Marcus Blossom Mr. Flower.
I would think a play on the television show Blossom would be funnier.
Interesting. Or we could call Coach Mac Big Mac with cheese. Those are both extremely catchy, Douglas, and I'll run up the flagpole because it's not us who make the nicknames, it's
society.
It's the radio bosses, and they know that we're in it for the clicks. And
Boss man Steve is always putting his thumb down on us.
We have to run it through the process. So, they for some reason cleared Mr. Yogurt. And so we have to check if Mr. Flower is going to work.
Mr. Flower. I mean, that brings up bad memories of Jim Flowers.
Those were good times. Just
some might say a little too good.
Didn't end well.
Calling Coach Mac Big Mac
that's normal, but a little mainstream. Right.
He's just so big.
He's a large person.
I would worry about him like punching John's lights out.
Large Mac.
Yeah.
By the way, tune in at 2:45 this afternoon. I can't wait to see what he says about this whole wrist thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be just excellent, excellent stuff.
Have I ever canceled a Jays program?
Have you?
I haven't.
Are you interested in canceling somebody? Hey, I'll remind you, Creighton Baseball lost to UNO on Tuesday.
I don't love that. However,
would you cancel them?
I mean, they've never fallen so short of expectations.
Last year was pretty bad. They didn't even make the Big East tournament.
Well,
and yet I heard no cancellation from you.
Nobody was clamoring for them to host a regional before the season started either.
That is actually true.
That's kind of where a lot of
it's a good point.
The canceling comes from the preseason expectations.
So what you're saying is Nebraska athletics are guilty. I mean, they are really getting hurt by their own Kool-Aid sunshine pumping fans. Creighton has
a little bit.
Creighton has some Kool-Aid sunshine pumping fans, but not nearly as many.
Right. If I canceled Creighton baseball, what would happen?
The repercussions of this? I'd probably be mad at you.
It'd be like a fart in the wind. No one would notice.
But you wouldn't. You don't really have a reason to do so right now.
No.
You could cancel, Creighton basketball. They're not going to have Ryan Kalkbrenner or Stephen Ashworth.
Mm-hmm.
Saw great videos of Stephen Ashworth last night, dressed as he was about to go knock on some doors.
They've never won a postseason tournament.
That's true. I'd say that's cancel worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Do it, Josh. You won't do it. Cancel them.
Today is not the day.
Okay. Maybe sometime in the fall or in the winter. Will you cancel Nebraska football's running backs, Josh?
Oh, I think they'll do that for themselves.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I've got some questions about this over the last 24 to 48 hours here. You guys have heard me voice my frustrations about the running back position at Nebraska. And they fell short on Marty Charmar Brown from Creighton Prep originally, and then played a year at North Dakota State, where he was the FCS Freshman of the Year. And Nebraska was after him in the transfer portal. They hosted him on a visit. He visited Miami. He visited Cal. Looked like he was going to go to Cal. It seemed like it was a pretty hot battle. My sense, and he ended up at Miami. My sense on the running back position in general, I never felt. Now, Josh, I don't know if you felt something different, or I don't know if other people out there felt something different, or if they don't think about anything like this. So you tell me. I never got the sense that Nebraska was super committed to bringing in another running back, because of when asked at spring ball, the company line was sort of like, we really like what we got. And I know where that comes from. I know that they want to do everything they can to keep the people that they have in the locker room right now. And, if you say, hey, look, man, we hate what we have and we have to go get more running backs, then the people in the locker room probably aren't going to like that. And they're going to end up leaving. Right. So at the same time, how do you portray yourself to a running back who is coming in who you're interested in bringing in the transfer portal? If your company line is, hey, look, we really like that. We kind of like the guys that we have. And you could, I don't think this is Nebraska's pitch. Like, I think Nebraska sold him pretty hard. I think Nebraska kind of tried here, but the idea kind of is, backhanded compliment. Like, I think they tried. I think they ran after Marty Brown and they fell short. But keep in mind what Nebraska's sort of line was on the running back position. It's like, hey, we kind of like what we got. So
RB2.
If you are doing, if you're Marty Brown and you're listening to not only what they're saying to you, but what they're saying about the room in general, and it's like, hey, we really like what we got. How do you translate that? Part of my translation would be, oh, well, like, there's no guarantee that I could go in there and go play right away, or go play in 1 year, or go play in 2 years. I don't know the specifics of the situation at Miami. I think they have a guy that they like for this year, and then kind of, you go after that. At Cal, it was a totally empty room because they don't have any players on their roster right now.
That's right.
And
They don't.
I think Cal was, I would imagine that they would sell that. They're looking for literally looking for a starting running back in the portal, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out. And so that's where I get the sense Nebraska, I don't know if it's exactly applicable to this situation that they didn't really run and try for Marty Brown, but that is the general sense that I've gotten from them about the position. We like what we have, and we're not going to chase you. If you want to come here, awesome. You could be a great asset to us. You'll probably play a little bit. If you don't want to come, we're not going to run after you. We're not going to. If Miami offers you 25% more, don't come back to us saying, "Hey, if you could bump it up 25% more than that, then you got a deal." Handshake. I don't think Nebraska is operating like that, specifically at that position. And I think I go back to, they want to run this sort of like an NFL team, and
that's what I'm thinking.
And I think that's a low value.
Right.
It's a low value position for them. So if they feel like, okay, we have a guy that we like and we trust, and we can fill in the holes with the rest, which I'm a little dubious about, then do we need to go out and spend more just to solidify a position that we don't even value that high? If you're doing the hierarchy of positions that you value on a football team for Nebraska or really anybody else, I think this is semi-universal. It's quarterback, offensive line, defensive line, interchange those two, whatever. And then probably defensive backs and wide receivers, interchange those two. And then, you feel like you can get a bunch of backs and tight ends. Backs, tight ends, and linebackers. Right? I mean, that's how the NFL approaches it.
Right.
That's how the NFL approaches it. But I have seen enough football to know when a linebacker is really, really good, it's going to help you, When Levante David's on your team, that's pretty sweet. That makes your defense a whole hell of a lot better. And when Amir Abdullah is on your team, that makes your team a whole hell of a lot better. What I've missed at that position is, a real game breaker, but I just don't think Nebraska has that, and I don't think they really pushed after it. And I don't think Marty Brown is that. But certainly could have helped them. So I guess that's my piece in the situation. I have concern. I have concern about how they approach the position, and I have concern about especially what it's going to be like this fall, because there's nobody else that is on the board. And they talk about what they like. They like him at Johnson, but we're comfortable with what we have, which means you really like Quentin Ives, and there's just no way that you can know. I have a complete and total understand, because I hear people talk about like, hey, look, man, can't you just sit back and you just trust the coaches about what they say about Quentin Ives? I'm like, no. No. I've seen him for 5 carries in a meaningless bowl game. No, I can't. Nobody would go. No, like, put yourself in reality. Like, you wouldn't sign up for that. You wouldn't. If this guy is going to be a significant piece for you next year, and he has to be, then, and you've seen him hardly ever, you wouldn't sign up for that. You wouldn't be like, yeah, okay, I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with that. How could you possibly how could you possibly be comfortable with that? And how could Nebraska possibly be comfortable with that?
Every time he carried the ball at the Pinstripe Bowl, he scored a touchdown.
What is it? One for one?
One carry for 2 yards and a touchdown.
Attaboy.
Every single time
Attaboy.
He scores a touchdown.
It's pretty high percentage.
That's RB2.
It's pretty high percentage. I'll give him that, Josh. I'll give him that. But like, I just don't think you can know. And so my sense is that is a reflection on how they feel about the position. If they feel comfortable enough to entrust the person with one carry, what's his career, Josh? Did you?
Oh, I
delete?
didn't look at that.
Oh, I thought you just pulled down the tab already.
No, yeah, I did close that tab. I was done. I cherry picked my stat and got the hell out of there.
What's his career? Career carries.
Career carries for one Quentin Ives.
I think it's 5.
Number 28 in your rosters, number 1 in our hearts.
Well,
6 carries for 7 yards and 1 touchdown, along of 5.
So if you're saying
2 of his 6 carries have gone for positive yards.
If you're saying here you go, here, and maybe he will be a good player.
Sure,
but if you're saying, hey, look, here's your RB2, and he needs to really help out and be a, that's just a role that he hasn't done before. It's just a role that he has not done before, and it's not like he's got a bunch of hype behind him either. You know, if you had a freshman who came in with 4 stars attached to him, and there's a bunch of buzz about him in fall camp or in spring ball, and people were like, oh yeah, this guy is going to be, if he's Maurice Washington or something like that, this guy's going to be able to help us out this year. Maybe the conversation would sound and feel a little bit different, but I haven't heard that. It's been more of like a defense of the spot. So I think that all ties into how it all worked out with Brown. And then I would also say that he just chose Miami, like I think there was an effort there from Nebraska, but at the same time, it's a position that they don't seem, maybe I'm wrong, but it's a position that they don't seem to value that much. That they say,
probably
we can go get a guy who does that, who fills that role for us. There are 40 of them out there. We'll see.
Probably I think Nebraska too NFL pilled.
I think Nebraska needs a game breaker.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched these running backs for the last several years now, and they get yards. I mean, Emmett Johnson got yards last year, but there was very few times, and maybe it was a little better at the end of the year. There was very few times where I felt like he was doing more, where he turned, what do we talk about with running backs all the time? Like you turn 5 yards into 8 yards, or 1 yard into 5 yards.
Mm-hmm.
There was just, not much of that. Game breaker. Or how about, 10 yards into 50 yards.
Whoa.
It is possible.
You're dreaming.
The only guy that did that last year was Dylan Raiola, because he got a block from the ref.
14 yards?
No, he had like a 50-yard run last year against Ohio State.
That's right. I'm sorry. I forgot.
I had to check. Somebody's going to have this stat handy. I had to check. I will during the break. What was the longest run by a running back last year? All right. So hold on that for a second. We'll come back. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that. And a few more things here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
I'm a fabulous driver.
The Connor Happer Show.
I'm one of the best friends you could ever have in your life.
On 1620 The Zone.
I hate you.